What's up, everybody? Mathias here from Crown Seeker Studios. Hope you're having a great week. And today we're gonna talk a little bit about drum editing, or I'm gonna demonstrate for you how I do my drum editing, because this stuff can be very frustrating and actually quite tedious and time-consuming, especially when you don't know what you're doing. And I'm the first one to say that I'm no expert when it comes to drum editing. I can get great results, which to me is all that matters, but I'm not the fastest and maybe not the most efficient. But I will try to teach you at least my process, and maybe you can improve my process. And or if you know a better process on how to do this, then feel free to comment in the comment section below and tell me about it, or just send me a DM or an email or whatever. So before we get to the video, I just want to remind you to go onto my YouTube profile or channel and hit that little bell notification icon, which helps you keep track of when I release new videos, and it also helps me to get more traction. Also, subscribe and comment and leave a thumbs up if you like this video, because all of these interactions help me grow as a YouTube channel and help me to be able to help more people. And that's what I would love to be able to do. And so the more interaction the video gets, the higher the algorithm, that stupid algorithm, will rank my videos, which allows me to reach out to my subscribers better as well. So yeah, that's pretty much it. Let's dive into the video. Hope you will enjoy it, and see you inside. Okay. So basically we are going to edit this tiny little section just to keep this video as short as possible, because I have a tendency to talk too much and the videos get very long, and I don't want to waste your time. So in Cubase anyways, this is how drum editing works. The process should be fairly similar in any DAW, but you might have to do some Google searches to see where certain things are that look different in your DAW. So first off, place your drum tracks in a folder track in Cubase, because that gives you the option to activate group editing, this little button right here. And what group editing does is basically if you click an audio event, everything in the folder will be highlighted. So if I remove this group editing or deactivate it, you'll see that that if I click one, only one of them will be highlighted. So let's activate, or let's keep this off for now actually. What I do when I start drum editing, I'll cut up the section that I'm gonna edit. So I like to cut it up like chorus, pre-chorus, verse. It makes it easier to keep track of everything, basically. And then I go into the kick first. And if you have two kick microphones or kick tracks, I like to find the kick track that has the least amount of cymbal and shell bleed into it. So there's mostly the kick that you can hear in the track. So like this one. As you can tell, you can mostly hear the kick here. So basically, I double click the audio event, and then you have something here called hit points, and then you hit this little arrow called edit hit points. And it will allow you to add these markers at each kick drum hit. So basically you have this threshold thing here, which you can adjust. And if you see, if I make it higher, it actually takes away the hit points. So you adjust this until it marks up the kicks nicely like this. And then what I do is I quickly go through it just to see that every kick hit has a hit point on it, and that there are no double hit points, because sometimes you get double hit points like this, and then it will cut. Then when we slice all of these tracks into tiny pieces, it will slice it here too, which makes no sense because we only want to move one part of the kick hit and not like splice it up into two parts. Split it up into two parts. So if you want to remove a hit point, if you have a double hit point, hold shift, and then you just left click on the hit point and it's gone. If there are snare drums in a section, in this one there's actually no snare drums because it's some sort of build up part. But if there are, I do the same thing for the snare track. And if it's a cymbal-oriented track or section of the song, then I usually do this for one of the cymbal mics or the overheads. But yeah, let's move on here. So then we activate group editing again, and then we highlight everything. Then you go up to the top bar here and go to edit, the edit tab. You can't see the top bar because I've cropped it out, but yeah, right next to file you have edit. And then you go to quantize panel. And then you'll see here you have hit point tracks. Then you'll just choose which one you want the quantize panel to prioritize. And since it's the kick we're using now, I'm just gonna have that as the main priority with these stars here. And then here you have offset. And basically you can see the red markers here are the hit points. And as you can see, they're not right on the kick hits right now. It's because I've set the offset to -15. If I make this to 0, it goes to where the hit points were originally. But what I like to do is use the offset, and I like to keep it at around -10 to -20, which moves the hit points a bit to the left from the actual hit, which will help us when we're doing our crossfades later. And you'll see why. So let's just hit slice. Bam. And now you can see that all of these are sliced up into tiny chunks. And now we have to quantize these. And quantizing means pretty much moving the hits to the grid. So they're exactly on time, or like precisely on time. So then you have to find the right like note speed or notation, and you can see that these ones are all the same size in how they're sliced up, and the same goes for these ones, that they're a different size from these, but they're all the same. So technically these could be 1/8 notes. And then what I do is just hit Q, which in Cubase anyways is quantize. And now you'll see them move a little bit. And now Cubase moved all of these hits to the closest bar here on the grid. And if they're not way off in time, if the drummer was not way off when he recorded the drums, they should now be exactly on time. And then for these ones, they're probably 1/16 notes. So then I'll highlight all of these and hit Q. And now these are all moved into place. Now you'll hear that if I play this now, they're on time, but you're gonna have these weird little gaps in between certain hits. Sorry for that loud noise. There we go. Here's one. And basically you don't want that to happen, right? And this is where crossfading comes in. But first, we are going to remove all the overlaps. And overlaps are basically when the audio events cross over one another. And that you don't want that until you do the crossfades. So either you can do Shift plus O. I'm not sure if I made that key binding myself, but that removes them. Otherwise, you can go to Audio and then Advanced here, and then you have Delete Overlaps. Click that, and now all the overlaps are gone. And now we can do our crossfade. And in Cubase, crossfading is very simple. You just click X, and everything is crossfaded. Now we have to do one last little run through of this section to make sure that the crossfades worked, that they sound good. And what I like to do is just zoom in, and then I just switch between the audio events like this. You can just use the arrows on your keyboard, and then I'll just jump through them like this. And I also like to turn off snap to grid. And then I go through them like this, and let's see if we find what we're looking for. Yeah, here you have one of these. So you can see that inside the crossfade, you have this kick hit happening. And basically you don't want that, but because that can give you a double kick sound or like a double hit sound. And that sounds very unnatural, and then people can tell that something's weird with the drums. So let's keep on doing this. Try to make it pretty fast for you. And you can be very precise with the crossfades if you want to, but there's not really a big need for that. Okay, and here's where the next section comes in. So now let's just listen through the part that we just edited to see if everything feels good. Yeah, sounds good to me. And if you do have like a hit in between here that wasn't sliced up like this, and you want this to be perfectly on time, what you can do is either set it up with the slicing as I showed you in the beginning, so it cuts all of these as well. Then you just have to add hit markers to the overheads, for example, in this part. But what you can do also is I like to change the notation to 32 notes, and then I'll just make a manual cut right in before here. And then using slip editing, which in Cubase you hold Control and Alt, and you get this little cursor instead of the normal one. And you can just hold left click and slide it into position. So let's say that this is exactly on time. And then when you're happy with that, you just mark where you cut it, or just highlight these, and then you hit X for the crossfade. And then I like to typically just move the crossfade as close as possible to the hit that we moved. And then you might have to check if the crossfade on the event right after is still good. But that's pretty much it, because now that one is exactly on time as well. But sometimes for parts like this, for example, I don't like to have everything in between the actual... I like to call these hits the beat keeping hit points. These ones are the ones that your ear is going to follow as keeping the beat. And everything in between, like extra hits and snare ghost notes and some tom hits that doesn't sound way off. I like to keep them natural and not move them too much, because that helps to not make the drums sound programmed, even though they're not. But if something is way off, then I will do that and go surgically into it and just edit it close to the grid or actually right on the grid. It depends on the genre and what the band is going for. So yeah, that's pretty much it for my process. This is pretty much exactly what it is. Just practice and you'll get faster at it and you'll understand it better. But hopefully I could make you understand a little bit here on how this works and not confuse you even more about it. Let me know if there's anything that you wonder about this, or if there's anything else that you're confused about when it comes to editing or recording or mixing. I'd be happy to answer you and make a video for you regarding whatever it is that you're confused about. So feel free to drop a comment in the section below. Don't forget to subscribe and hit that notification bell in my on my YouTube channel, which helps me pop up in your feed if you enjoy my videos, and also helps me reach out to more people, which will also help me improve this channel for you as well. So take care, have a great continued week, and I'll see you in the next one. Okay, bye-bye.